So the Spanish government has decided to behave as most abusers behave towards their victims by trying to blame the Catalonians for the fact that Spain won't let the Catalonians be free. People will have seen scenes this week of Spanish riot cops going in, stealing ballot boxes, firing rubber bullets into peaceful demonstrators at point blank range, battening people, smashing in windows. In total, the Spanish cops stole about 800,000 votes. This violent response from the Spanish state provoked a massive show of people power as Catalan workers called a general strike and came out in massive numbers. The general strike was the biggest general strike ever in that region. 300,000 people took to the streets of Barcelona alone. But the Spanish state has responded with more threats, even wheeling out a dusty old aristocrat to put down the Catalans. Spanish government even has Spanish soldiers in ships off the coast of the Catalan region. The EU, fearing a threat to the neoliberal money-making order, want the question of Catalan independence to go away. But the EU are very quick to condemn human rights abuses in Turkey and other places, but not when it comes to their own backyard. The Spanish Prime Minister, Rajoy, is the head of the People's Party. The PP were founded by ex-Francoists. They're a right-wing conservative Catholic party who were responsible for the housing bubble and the subsequent collapse in Spain. They then did what our government did and bailed out the banks. PP are also a deeply corrupt party, but what they want to do now is stir up nationalism. If they can convince Spanish workers that the Catalan workers are somehow their enemy, then Spanish workers will remain chained to Rajoy and the corrupt People's Party. The Spanish government has claimed that the Catalan region is a rich region and poor regions of Spain will suffer if they break away. Surely governments can raise tax revenue by taxing the rich. That way neither Catalan workers nor Spanish workers need to suffer. And the Catalan region itself has rich people and poor people. The poverty rate in the Catalan region is 20%. But Catalonia has a long history of oppression at the hands of the Spanish state. In 1714, the Bourbons conquered Catalonia. The king abolished the Catalan parliament. By the late 1800s and early 1900s, Catalonia had a really strong working class movement. In 1925, when the left government came to power in Spain, they granted the region autonomy. But when Franco and his fascist generals rose up against the left, Catalonia was one of the strongest places for working class resistance. Barcelona in particular saw armed militias mobilised to resist the fascists. George Orwell, in his novel Homage to Catalonia, describes the scenes in Barcelona. Practically every building of any size had been seized by the workers and was draped with red flags. Every shop and cafe had an inscription saying that it is being collectivized. The boxes were painted red and black. There were no private motor cars. Revolutionary posters were everywhere. But this revolution was crushed by Franco in 1938 and 1939. Franco and the fascists murdered between 50 and 200,000 people right across Spain. Even speaking Catalan under the fascists would have wound you up in a prison. This situation lasted until 1975. After Franco's death, the new Spanish constitution gave Catalonia a small amount of autonomy. And in 2006, Catalonia won the right to nation status. But after the economic crisis of 2008 had stirred up popular rebellion within Spain, and radicalised the people of the Catalan region, the Spanish elite saw the Catalan movement as a threat to their hold over the country as a whole. But this overturning of Catalan democracy has gone on quite a lot recently. There were 15 laws overturned. The Catalan region passed a law raising the minimum wage. Spain overturned it. Now some people online will say, why are you lining up with Catalan nationalism? But this isn't about lining up with Catalan nationalism. It's about lining up with the interests of Catalan workers. But the irony is a lot of the people who are condemning Catalan nationalism are lining up with the imperial, racist nationalism of the People's Party. Of course, I'm no fan of Carles Puigdemont and the right-wingers in the Catalan parliament. But through general strikes and protests, the left in the Catalan region will be empowered as long as they don't separate the question of autonomy from Spain and economic justice for working class people. Through strikes and protests, the Catalan working class are not only undermining the Spanish state, a state which oppresses most Spanish workers, they're also putting themselves closer to taking the driving seat in the Catalan region itself. My message to Spanish workers would be this: don't line up with the king and the People's Party and a corrupt ruling class to keep the Catalan workers down. It only chains you and makes you a slave of your own ruling class. You have to stand in solidarity with people who are fighting for democracy and self-determination. The struggle of the Catalan workers is our struggle. It's a struggle against the neoliberal order. It's a struggle against neoliberal Spain. It's a struggle against the neoliberal EU. As George Orwell said in Homage to Catalonia, when people fight back, when people revolt, human beings learn how to behave as human beings and not just as cogs in the capitalist machine.